Bookkeeping in the retail industry has some unique complexities that do make it a little more complicated than other businesses. And since I opened my business back in 2021, I have worked with dozens of small businesses, and I often see that a lot of small business owners make similar mistakes when they manage their own bookkeeping. And unfortunately, mistakes like these can lead to inaccurate financial reports, which then leads to inaccurate taxes, which then leads to you either over or underpaying on your taxes. So today, I want to share what some of these common bookkeeping mistakes are and help you avoid these mistakes to make sure that your bookkeeping is both helpful and accurate in helping you operate your business and prepare for taxes. Let's dive in. Hey there, and welcome to the Boutique Bookkeeper Show, where we take the mystery out of your money and make your numbers make sense. I'm Megan, virtual bookkeeper and bookkeeping coach, and I love helping female boutique owners just like you finally feel confident about the financial side of your business. If you're tired of feeling anxious every time you have to open QuickBooks, or if you're making sales but constantly left wondering, where did all that money go? You're in the right place. We'll cover all things bookkeeping and taxes, all in plain English, so you can be less intimidated by the numbers and finally start to use them to help you grow a profitable boutique. So, if you're ready to stop avoiding this whole numbers thing and start keeping more of the money you make, grab your coffee and your calculator and let's dive in. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Boutique Bookkeeper Show. I'm Megan, and today we are going to be talking about the 5 most common mistakes I see boutique owners make when it comes to their bookkeeping and some solutions to help you fix them. So let's get right to it. Mistake number 1 is simply not doing it. And yes, this deserves a whole section on its own because I can almost guarantee you that there are some of you listening right now who are guilty of this mistake. Either you just don't know what you're supposed to be doing and you don't have the time to do it right now, you don't have time to figure it out right now, so it just keeps getting pushed down your to-do list. Or maybe you just simply hate doing it, so you just keep putting it off. But either way, you can only not do it for so long because there's a tax deadline every year, and the longer you put it off, the larger the quote-unquote project becomes and the more stress and anxiety that it seems to cause. So to help you solve this mistake, I want you to start scheduling just 15 minutes every Monday morning to focus on organizing your receipts and tracking all of your transactions from the prior week, because by simply chipping away at this just a little bit every week, it'll help avoid it becoming this massive project that you just keep putting off and dreading each year. Mistake number 2 that I often see business owners make is using spreadsheets. And this is often a very cost-effective and a simple way for business owners to track their business finances, and it can be a great option for your early days in business. And believe me, I love a good spreadsheet, but unfortunately, spreadsheets have no place in being your primary bookkeeping system beyond that first year. If you're using spreadsheets long-term for your bookkeeping, you are unfortunately wasting your time, and I say this with so much love. A software is going to be a much more effective use of your time. There are 3 popular options out there. QuickBooks Online is the one that I am most familiar with, and that is the one that I will recommend all the time. Another option is Xero. It's spelled Xero. And another option is Wave. And like I said before, QuickBooks is my favorite platform across business owners. And I do have another blog post that I've done that kind of talks about why I love QuickBooks and all the different time-saving features that it has, which is why I love it so much. So I will link to that below in the show notes if you're interested in learning more about QuickBooks. Xero is a more cost-effective solution than QuickBooks, but in my opinion, it's just not quite as user-friendly. And Wave is actually a free platform to start. Obviously, with a free platform, there are more limitations, but it is a great place to start if you are looking to try and keep costs very minimal with having just a step up above a spreadsheet. But the solution to using spreadsheets for your bookkeeping is obviously just signing up for a bookkeeping software, try it out, and start using that in your business moving forward. Eventually, you will want to get everything in there from January 1st of a year moving forward, so a full year of data is easily accessible and organized for tax time next year. But if you're listening to this now, go ahead and start now. You can go back and get the prior couple months of the year entered in there at a later date. All right, mistake number 3 is mixing business and personal finances. So Sometimes your business may have started out as a hobby or a side hustle, and eventually you realize that, hey, this could be a real business, right? And by that point, you had all of your expenses and income flowing through your personal bank accounts, and it just seems like a headache to get it all switched over now. But there are two main problems with this. One, you are definitely overcomplicating your bookkeeping, and you won't be able to fully utilize the features and tools that a software like QuickBooks can provide. And two, if you operate as an LLC, you could be voiding the protection that your LLC actually provides. And it's a term that's called piercing the corporate veil. So if someone were to ever come after your store and sue your store, by mixing your business and personal finances, you're essentially telling the government and the courts that, hey, my business is really not separate from me at all. You are putting all of your personal finances and everything that you own personally at risk. And vice versa. If someone were to sue you on a personal level, all of a sudden, all of your business assets are also at risk unless you can prove that you are operating completely separate from the business. So the solution for this mistake is to make sure that you open separate business bank accounts and credit cards, start moving all of your deposits and expenses to start flowing through those accounts instead, and make sure that only your business accounts move through those accounts, or your business transactions move through those accounts. And I will say they don't necessarily need to be labeled business accounts, but be sure that they are accounts that you use strictly for your business-related transactions. All right, mistake number 4, recording your deposits as gross sales. So it's important to note that the amounts that are deposited into your accounts from your sales and payment processors, it's actually the net amount of several different factors. It is your gross sales minus your discounts, minus any refunds that were processed, added in the shipping income that you collected, add in the sales tax that you've collected, and then the processing fees are deducted from that, and that is how you come to find what the deposited amount is. And ideally, you want each of those items separately recorded in your bookkeeping records. So my solution for this is it's going back to one of the previous solutions I had, make sure that you're using a bookkeeping software where you can accurately track each of these pieces using what's called a journal entry, where you can literally just plug in the numbers from your point of sale system to accurately reflect all of those gross sales, discounts, refunds, shipping income, sales tax, and the processing fees. And then those deposits, as they actually come into your bank account, you're actually just going to record those as transfers from your digital bank accounts that you're going to set up, which represent all of your different payment processors. And finally, mistake number 5 is recording every transaction as either income or expense. So as I'm sure most of you know, income and expenses are reflected on your income statement or your profit and loss statement. But there are 3 types of transactions that aren't reflected on the income statement. And those are things related to assets, which are the things that you own. So the money in your bank accounts, the inventory that you have, any equipment that you use in your business, things like that. 2 is liabilities, which are the things that you owe. So this is going to be the balance on any credit cards that you have, the sales tax you've collected from customers that you need to remit to the state agencies, and any outstanding balances on loans or lines of credit. And the 3rd type of transaction is any equity-related transactions, which represents your personal investment into the business. So some transactions that fit into these categories will only be reflected on your balance sheet, not your income statement. So certain transaction examples could include paying off or paying down your credit card, making the sales tax payment to the state agency, purchasing inventory, or paying yourself through owner's draws. So the solution to this mistake is to review your bookkeeping to ensure that you are recording these types of transactions accurately and that they do not appear on your income statement. So let's kind of wrap this up and talk about why does this actually matter? So as I mentioned earlier, mistakes in your bookkeeping can lead to mistakes on your tax return. Some of these mistakes lead to you reporting a higher income on your tax return than you actually earned. This leads to overpaying in taxes, so you have less money to actually pay yourself from the business or to reinvest back into the business. And some of these mistakes lead to missed deductions, which will also lead you in lead you to overpaying in taxes. So having accurate bookkeeping helps you track every single dollar you spend, and you can use those numbers to help you make smarter business decisions and help you grow your business. So the best way to avoid these mistakes is to use a bookkeeping software like QuickBooks Online and learn some of the bookkeeping basics for yourself to help you understand how all of the numbers work together. I love to say that bookkeeping is like a puzzle, and literally every single number fits together to create this picture of your business's finances. And I would love to invite you to join my free masterclass where I talk about a few of these mistakes in greater detail and to share some of these bookkeeping basics for you to begin to understand. So you can register to watch it at any time. It's at findingfreedomfinancial.com/masterclass, and I will also link it below in the show notes for you. So if you're interested in getting a little handout of these different mistakes that I have covered today, I do have a free guide on my website. It's at findingfreedomfinancial.com/mistakes. So you can print these out and keep them somewhere handy so you can keep referencing them to make sure that you are avoiding these mistakes. And if you are making their mistakes, absolutely no judgment. Like I said, these are very common mistakes that I have seen dozens of business owners make. So do not feel bad, do not feel guilty if you are making any of these yourself, but let's commit to start changing them and make this the year that you focus on having accurate and up-to-date finances. So that's all that I have for you today, but be sure to tune in next week for another episode. I'll see you there. Hey there, and thanks for hanging out with me today. I hope that I shared something that helped you feel just a little bit more confident in understanding all the numbers in your boutique business. If you found this helpful, don't forget to go and leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts. That's the best way for other boutique owners just like you to find this podcast so I can help them feel just a little bit more confident in their numbers as well. If you have any questions about what you heard today, hop on over to Instagram and send me a DM at findingfreedomfinancial. I'll be back again real soon, but in the meantime, go implement or take action on something you learned today. I promise your future self will thank you.